Hi, this is Ryan with Honey Dashboard, and at this video I want to go over adding and editing items in your product list. So these are under the actions. You've got the ability to manage your products. Um, the admin also has access to this, but this is a pretty comprehensive list of all the products that we have in the system. Majority of them have pictures associated with them so that it's a good visual to remember what it is. Um, you can search for pretty much anything you want. You can just scroll through and find if you're looking for something specific. Uh, we can easily do something like, let's just say tile. We're going to find that there's a lot. There's 1,136 of them. So that's everything that has either a tile in the name or the type, or even in here. There's several areas that it looks and it combines them all together. So if something has tile in it, it's going to find everything included. So obviously waterfalls are not tile. So it's not a perfect system, but it does give you a large variety. And the benefit of this is there's times where things get put in and not everybody knows what they are, but they don't even know what options there are in here. So this will show everything and let you see things real quick. But you can go through and kind of see what is available, what's here. Perhaps we could do something that makes a smaller list and do a waterfall. Now we're down to 52. And this partly comes up because it's Great American Waterfall. So we'll see those things, but we'll also see actual waterfalls in here. Now, if we select on them, there's a lot of information available. You have the manufacturer or the supplier. You've got your category that this falls under, which is obviously a water feature. It's a material versus labor, for example. You've got your part number with the manufacturer and the name itself, which often are the same thing, but sometimes they're not. You know, your pipe is not going to be the same at all. You've got your actual hard cost. This is what you're paying initially for it. If there is tax on top of that, or like in the instance of tiles, you may want to add an overage adjustment into it because you need extra tile added in. These all get calculated together to give you an adjusted cost. And then you can decide what your profit margin or your markup is. Either way, it'll calculate on either one, and it will adjust the other one accordingly, which will tell you your total sale price, and that will then subtract the adjusted cost from that and tell you your profit. You can determine if the price is taxable. If it's been discontinued, there's no need to delete it out of the system. You may want to remember that it's been discontinued and not use it again in the future and not accidentally add it again and go through that whole thing. So it's easier to just set it as discontinued. In fact, you'll see that as soon as you click on that, it says discontinued up here. And if you go back to the list, it's actually marked as discontinued. So we'll take that off. We can include it in our base pool packages. So there's options for that. We can also duplicate this product. So if we've added one in, say that we add like the shear descent, for example, and we want to add multiple sizes, you could duplicate it and just change the name. And it maintains all of this information, including a description, which default, if you have a default vendor, if you have a default cycle, those are all just options that come up in there. You can also set a default quantity. Typically, we leave this at about 1 unless there is some reason that it has to be much higher. And then you have all these ways that it can be sold. Furthermore, you can actually add package items to an item. So like the rock wall waterfall itself costs a certain amount of money, but then you also have these package items which you need to make sure you include with it every single time you get it, just because you don't want to forget these things. You don't want to forget that you have to have the ball valve and the elbows, so many elbows. And you can calculate these things out because you're already going to have these parts on the job, but this may be how much more you need to charge for this. So the idea with this is it helps you to figure out how much more to charge when you go to actually purchase them and come up with quantities for your purchase orders. Something like 4.5 would automatically be rounded up to 5. 0.5 would automatically round up to 1 because you're obviously not going to buy half a valve. So those would be added up for the purchase order, or rounded up rather for the purchase order. And that's how you figure that. Now, I also talked on the proposal about hidden items, and this is where you set that. So you can choose if these items are hidden or if you want them to show. If you want to show the three-way valve on the waterfall, then this would show up on the proposal for the customer. Everything else on here would then be hidden. You'll see that that's true with any of these products. I just picked another one that just turned out to be the same type of thing. Let's go to Arc Descent. This is going to have a variety of items. This one, same valve. It's hidden. A good example is going to be, let's just go with tile. And you'll see that you may want to show that we're going to have to, there's shipping included in that. You may not want to show that. You definitely don't want to show the labor that's being charged for it. So you hide that. But again, that's all personal preference. They are already pre-populated with a lot of this information. You can go in and make modifications to the dollar amounts, to the choices. If you want things to show or to hide, it's all customizable. You just make your choices. If you want to add a new product, you simply click here and create a new product from scratch. It's going to show up with one of these pages completely blank. You start filling in the product. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just make a new product, and we're going to call it My Custom Product. And you have a list of manufacturers that you can choose from. I'll show you in the next video how to add to this list, how to create it. But at the moment, let's just give, let's say Horner Express is our guy. My custom product is going to be any one of these options, which, by the way, if you type in here rather than just choose from the list, it'll add to that list. So you can make this list as comprehensive as you want, but the more pieces in it, the more complicated it becomes. So this is just going to be basic, a basic category. We're just going to call it child safety. It's got a type, same type of thing you can add to this. And this is where you put labor or material or something specific. If it's marble, limestone, grout, that sort of thing. We're going to say this is this. The part, I'm going to go ahead and use the exact same number, or same name rather. This does not have a color. It does. It's going to be sold as one each. It's got a cost of $50. Which again translates all the way through, but I do want to make a profit margin of 33.5%. And so now it's all auto-calculated for me. And I'm going to say this thing is that. And I'm also going to say that we would typically pick it up from Horner. That's where we're going to go and grab it. And well, we said this was child safety, so let's go ahead and put it as part of that child safety cycle. Now, the reason for these cycles is this combines them together with this and helps us to build out the proposal, but also the purchase orders, because the purchase orders can be set against a specific job cycle. And so when we say that we believe there's going to be $5,000 for tile, it'll actually be billed against the tile, the labor, the material, all that stuff will go against there. And then it makes it really easy to do job costing as you go through and get these bills back from your vendors, your suppliers, your subcontractors, all that kind of thing. You can put a description in here. You can also put in a package. If you need to add items to it, you can either add them here and create whatever pieces you want, or you can go up here and get a more comprehensive list that you go through and grab your products and just add them in here, set them to the hidden. You can also say no quantity change. For example, shipping, you would want to say no quantity change because I don't want that to change this quantity, whereas I do want the labor to change quantity. And that is how you how you add a new product to the list. And that's also how you get um, your or that's all about the products and how you add and edit and update and all that kind of good jazz. So that's products.